Boom. All right, here we go. Welcome back to Rob's Arcade, you guys. Special shout out to all my subscribers, my architects out there. Thanks so much for hanging out. We got a special little treat here for Monday's show. Thanks for sticking around for part 2, where we're going to be playing some Mortal Kombat and talking about Mortal Kombat, because today marks the anniversary of the original Mortal Kombat release back in 1993, September 13th. And joining me is my good friend and master gamer, Buck, who is also a huge Mortal Kombat fan. And we're just going to kind of hang out for a little bit and just kind of talk to you guys about some of our favorite moments and memories and stories behind Mortal Kombat. Not just a great game, but one of the better fighting movies and video game movies out there.
I mean, overall franchises, right? Like,
definitely.
Not many things have stuck around this long.
Not at all.
Especially such modest beginnings.
And yeah, very, like I said, very simple, and just gets better and better over the years. I find myself like playing, you know, here we are playing Mortal Kombat 11, and I find myself like watching this, and it's not the same, but this is what I feel like the original looked like to me. Like, this is what you were talking about, those little stupid blood spatters and the little red blobs. Ooh, nice one. Earlier, but I feel like this is what it looked like to me. Like when I was doing that fatality, this is what I saw. And it just keeps getting better over the years. Where it went from like, even like, I guess 10 was an amazing title. And then it's just like, how can they go any harder than that title?
Round 2, fight.
Here we are with 11. The programmers must have lost sleep at night, coming up with this nightmarish finishing moves.
I think 10 is just way over the top, brutal, hardcore. This kind of cartoons it up a little bit. But I really feel like 10.
Yeah, 10 had a lot of the horror characters in there too, right? Like Leatherface, all that. Yeah. Was Jason on there?
I don't know.
Oh, nice.
I don't know how I did that.
It's one of those, again, those games where I've mentioned this before, I want to get an arcade pad. I'd say, better than that, not too expensive. But knowing me, I'd want to get the arcade pad and then like build it into some kind of like table of some sort. You know?
Fatality.
So I could actually
I don't
sit
remember
there.
it looking like that when I was a kid.
But see, like, no, of course, and like it nowhere near. But in my mind, I just feel like that's what it was to me. It's just it's so insane. I sit there and I watch it. I'm like, you know, this is what my imagination was like. I was kind of connecting the dots even back then.
I think this is what our parents thought it was like.
Absolutely.
That's why they freaked out.
Totally. Well, nothing else was like that up until that. I mean, like, you know, we talk about it, you know, again, like that's what we wanted, you know, between like, you know, Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis having the blood and guts, and that's what like every kid wanted. But yeah, there was just nothing. I can't think of anything. I mean, even like violence, like shooting games and things like that. It was always like big, bright orange bursts and
Aaron Black.
circles of like little explosions and stuff like that. You know, you never. Well, I don't know. Again, Sega had some pretty like Splatterhouse. It's pretty gruesome kind of like horror games and stuff like that. But
yeah, but it's like, once again, it's like a red puddle.
mm-hmm.
You know, you go to like Castle Wolfenstein, and the guy goes, ugh.
Right. Oh yeah, that was another one that was, I think, brought up a lot of times at hearings. Not just Mortal Kombat. That was one. Doom. I think was one that was
Yeah.
constantly kind of targeted. But I mean, yeah, I mean, like even the original Mortal Kombat. I mean, let's be honest. Like they're pulling off heads, ripping out hearts, completely setting bodies aflame. So, like I said, I don't think anything else had really. Up until that point, it was Sonic, Toe Jam, and Earl. And then Mortal Kombat hit the ground. But yeah, I remember it was, like I said, it was September 13th, and like I said, we just got back to school, but we were so excited because we had Mortal Kombat to look forward to. And you mentioned earlier the video rental stores. Oh man, that was, if you didn't buy it, if you didn't have it, I mean, that was the hottest rental for the longest time. I think I was fortunate enough that I was like, Dad, I have to have this game, and you know, he understood the necessity for blood and guts and gore, so he had no problem picking that up. And also, his best friend was my best friend's son, and I was friends with his best friend's son, so it was kind of like, if he had something, I would get it too. And of course, they had it on Super Nintendo. My dad's like, oh well, if they got it, you gotta get it.
I never had it, but my friend across the street had it. And
Round 2.
sometimes I would go over there when he wasn't there. His parents were cool with me, so
But that's
go in,
awesome.
play his Genesis board around.
That's amazing.
I was a Nintendo kid.
Yeah, see, like, I talked about that a little bit in one of my other videos. New Game Friday, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch that. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I never really saw myself growing up, like, in comic books as one of the other, like, DC or Marvel or anything like that. I had a Nintendo growing up, but as I mentioned in a couple other videos, like, I just kind of felt like that was a staple. If you're like a white kid in the suburbs, like you just had Nintendo, like it came in the mail with like coupon books and stuff, you know, just you had one. And I never
Wasn't
really,
an active choice.
yeah, you know, I never really asked for one. I just had it. But as soon as my dad picked up the Sega Genesis for us, I definitely became a Sega kid. Like that was where Sega CD, when that came out, that had me like hook, line, and sinker. Only the system that I ever really truly like wanted growing up. My dad surprised us with the Sega Genesis. I didn't even know what the heck one was. And like I said, you just kind of acquire a Nintendo growing up. But I wanted a Sega CD like so bad. Like I was like, please daddy, I'll never ask for anything else again, kind of a thing. And yeah, I was Sega Game Gear. I don't think I had the 32X. But yeah, the Sega CD was like my favorite thing.
Wins.
And Mortal Kombat on Sega CD was absolutely phenomenal because it was almost an exact mirror copy of the arcade version. Felt like Sega Genesis did a good job at bringing home like the home console edition, but the Sega CD version, it was perfect. They had all the actors like clearly visible in like all the cutscenes, and it was really good.
That's that's what made it stand out really, because you came up with Mario, and that's fine. It's bright, it's colorful, but it's cute and animated.
Mm-hmm.
You've got these real actors on the blue screen pretending to rip each other's hearts off. And
Exactly. Acting and physically. You've seen all this YouTube stuff. I mean, it's so good. If you guys haven't seen the YouTube stuff out there, you guys have to check it out. Like YouTube, the behind the scenes of Mortal Kombat. It's, like you said, that's something there, like, I don't think it's talked about a lot because, yeah, everything up to that time was like kind of programmed. Like it's just, you know, pixels on the screen. And it's amazing in itself because, yeah, you're controlling these characters. Just like, I mean, like we're doing now. But yeah, those are like actors, like you said, changing costumes. Sometimes it was like one actor would play like 3 or 4 different roles.
Yeah, definitely.
and just put on different
It's like
hats and stuff like that. Yeah, and they're got
just
the guy
taking
with the
multiple
megaphone.
pictures.
Yeah, yeah. All right, do an uppercut, and they do the
Yeah, right.
uppercut. Yeah, you just got hit in the
Left
balls,
foot.
you know. And that's something too you got to think about. So like every character has to have like a ball reaction to the nut punch when Johnny Cage does the nut punch.
We've got you surrounded,
Yeah,
Rain.
it's just such a cool thing.
Shall we begin the party?
Party's over.
And
You're out of time.
Round 1.
you know, not only kind of like changing how games were kind of made, but I think kind of played too because competition, like, you know, even in the arcade, like Mortal Kombat, that standing around with your quarter in place, like getting your turn in, that was something that hadn't really been established until like Street Fighter and games like Mortal Kombat kind of came onto the scene. And nowadays, that's kind of taken to like these online kind of competitions where, you know, people kind of wait in line to see who's the best. But it's kind of something that started with Mortal Kombat, like that. You know, video games are always competitive, but I think they kind of took it to like a whole new level. That one-on-one, two-player action.
Yeah, ever since Pong, you know, there was.
Yeah.
I really think Mortal Kombat like opened up. It got more attention than Pong.
Yeah.
Because obviously it would.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, there were so many games, and like
Tantalizing.
you mentioned earlier, like Sega was so like well known for like its sports games.
Yeah, absolutely.
And me and my friend used to play a lot of like Bull versus Blazers and stuff like that. A lot of Electronic Arts video games, and you know, all night long, back and forth, trash talking and stuff. But yeah, I just feel like Mortal Kombat just really opened up that best of the best competition that we still have today. I mean, it's like it's almost like you know, video games is kind of like a sport. Oh, darn it. Nowadays with like endorsements and all of that kind of stuff. And if like, you know, I feel like if we had the internet and global gaming and all this going on when Mortal Kombat hit the ground, then that would have been something that probably would have took off like 30 years ago. You'd have little kids all over the country trying to see who was the best player of Mortal Kombat. I guarantee it.
Man, I remember being a kid, and you get your monthly gaming magazine or
Oh, gosh.
2 or 3, whichever one,
Yeah.
and you would rip pages out, go to the copy machine in the library, and make copies and hand them out to your friends.
Now, I definitely remember getting like the stapler and like making a little booklet of all the finishing moves and stuff for Mortal Kombat 2. I don't recall having a magazine when the first one came out. And
No.
it was one of those things where I do remember, like, over the course of 2 to 3 months, you were getting more and more info. I think it was about a month after Mortal Kombat 2 dropped, I remember picking up a magazine, and it had every move and every finishing move and fatality, friendship for every character. But it took a long time, I feel like, for all the moves to come out for the original Mortal Kombat. And so I remember sitting in like CVS with a notebook paper and just writing it all down and taking it home because like I probably couldn't afford the magazine. It's like $6 every month, and it was only like a few moves at a time, so I just kind of like make my own little strategy guide. Wow.
This guy's, I don't know shit about this guy, but
Yeah, he's
Round 2.
I'm
He
impressed.
knows, he's seeing into my soul. He knows all about me. Sees my fear. Yeah, I liked Mortal Kombat 3. Started introducing stuff like the run function. Then it had that crazy like slot machine thing you could do with the different icons.
Oh hell yeah!
And you could like change up your stats or give yourself different power sets by unlocking different symbols.
Ryu's really started to get kind of wacky.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They got self-aware. They knew what they were doing.
Well, they knew the hype. I mean, it was like, you know, they knew, you know, it's like with each incarnation, they could get away with more and more. And it was kind of like when they started like doing like friendships. It was kind of like, what is this? Like, what are you doing? Like friendships? Yeah, right? It was like so stupid, babyalities. But you know, that was the cool thing. Like, you didn't know, are you going to get a finishing move done? Or are you going to get turned into a baby? And it was just ridiculous and fun.
Ripping your friend's head off is funny, right? But turning him into a baby?
It's even better, yeah.
Oh my god.
So, well, they knew what they were doing. They became self-aware. They're probably just sitting around at night drinking beer, just like, we can't do any wrong.
That's where they brought in Striker?
Was that the cop?
It was the cop, yeah. It was just like, you know, everybody else is like a kung fu legend or a thunder god, and this guy's like, oh, a cop.
No, it was a cop, but it was a cop from the future.
I think it had like just a short sleeve blue T-shirt on.
It was like it looked like a bike cop.
Yeah, right, right, like a mall cop.
Oh gosh. Oh, they did have a couple of downfalls with their video games. Some stains on their resume, but I think their biggest regret was Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
He wouldn't hurt me, would you, sweetheart?
That was probably something they wished they could finish themselves.
Round 1. Fight.
Oh, that drone looks like the same drone from the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Nice.
Such a good movie. I know we were supposed to talk about Mortal Kombat, but we started talking about movies, and now I'm talking about the Sonic movie. And I think if anybody's seen the Sonic movie and they see that drone, they would definitely agree with me.
It's all tied in because Sega.
Exactly.
Sega.
Sega! So that's like growing up in the 90s and make a living just screaming Sega.
Ready.
Round 2. Fight.
Yeah, I remember, you mentioned your friend had it, so you would kind of head over there. I don't think there was a weekend at my house from like 1993 to 1994 where somebody wasn't staying the night over my house on a Saturday, and we didn't just like stay up all night playing Mortal Kombat 1 and 2.
It would take turns, but absolutely.
And honestly, I felt like a lot of female gamers enjoyed it as well. I know my wife, I know Carrie Ann still enjoys playing games like Mortal Kombat. But my little middle school girlfriend at the time, I know she played with her brother all the time. She kicked my ass quite a few times. My sister loved playing, and they all played the same way. They never know any moves.
Right.
They never study any finishing techniques. They kick ass, and they just basically go in there. They smash buttons quick as shit.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something that they can enjoy because it's a fun button smasher. And the reward is kicking the shit out of your older brother or your boyfriend or your husband. And
it really doesn't take skill. You can get lucky and win. Just by sitting in the corner and spamming kick.
Right, getting that lucky uppercut in or something, yeah.
Really makes you feel like a badass when
you
know, like you said, you kick your boyfriend's ass.
Or you take out the whole what was it? They used to have like the towers or the mountains with the different ranks that you would climb. And you
towers.
Just clear right through just doing foot sweep, foot sweep, foot sweep, foot sweep, foot sweep. Finish him. All right, next one. Foot sweep, foot sweep, foot sweep. Uppercut, foot sweep, foot sweep, foot sweep. Finish him. All right, next one. Just win the whole game that way. Backgrounds are always a lot of fun.
Bunker.
Get that cool moon set on the pit there and uppercut the guy. Flies up
above
into
the
this.
Sarlacc.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's a good character for Mortal Kombat. Let's get Mando or Boba Fett up in
You
here.
betrayed
Hell
Earthrealm.
yeah.
Loyalties for mugs. We are nothing without it.
Round
I
one.
think Mortal Kombat is in the DC universe because there are Mortal Kombat characters in
I think you're right.
the Injustice games and the Ninja Turtles. So I didn't know that.
Ninja Turtles have been owned by like every single like comic book company known to man. Image Comics, DC Comics, Mirage. They've been all over the place. Cool. Turtle hussies. Alright guys, well it looks like we're coming up on the 20-minute mark, so what I'm going to do here is I think we're having a good conversation, so I'm going to take a break. I'm going to pause this real quick, get a clip, and then come back real quick for a little bit more
Round
action.
two. Fight.